Hi guys, this is Mr. Tan, and we are looking at the second set of slides on research project or business research. So again, the aim of this unit is to develop learners' skills of independent inquiry and critical analysis by undertaking a sustained research investigation of direct relevance to their higher education program and professional development. Okay. So this is to understand, how to formulate a research specification, be able to implement the research project within the agreed procedures and to specification, to be able to evaluate the research outcomes and to be able to present the research outcomes. When we look at the research process, there are various stages, and you need to get this in your mind. You need to get this process in your mind because you're going to have to go through all of these processes. The first one is going to be the research idea. What is your idea, and either your hypothesis, your statement in terms of what you're trying to determine. And even that can be difficult in itself, because unless it's concise and it's not so wide, or if it's too wide, your research may be difficult to actually do. The next stage is the literature review. Again, there's a lot of research involved in the literature review in terms of your topic area, and does the information actually exist? Can you actually find the information? The next stage, theoretical formulation of the research problem, empirical research questions, research design, planning, data collection, data analysis, answering the empirical research questions, theoretical, interpretation of the results, comparison with earlier research, and then conclusions. So you're going to have to go through all of these stages in order to go through this whole business research project. And the first thing you're going to need to do really is to kind of like brainstorm, to get ideas in terms of where you want to go and what interests you. What is exactly, which path do you want to go down? So, when we're looking at it, it really does mean different things to different people. It is a process of inquiry and investigation. It is a systematic and methodological process. Research increases knowledge. So which route do you want to go? When we look at understanding research, we can say it's a systematic investigation process employed to increase or revise current knowledge by discovering new facts. And it can be divided into two categories. Basic research, as we've discussed in the previous slides, is an inquiry aimed at increasing scientific knowledge, focuses on fundamental principles and testing theories. Or applied research, it's effort aimed at the basic research for solving problems or developing new processes, products, or techniques. Its ultimate goal is relating to the results of a particular situation. Okay, so basic research or applied research. When we're looking at trying to understand research, the lines between basic and applied research can blur. Sometimes there's an overlap. For example, a researcher playing around with batteries and methods of storing energy might accidentally stumble upon a revolutionary battery, which could, be utilized as a commercial product. Basic or pure is conducted solely for the purpose of gathering information and building on existing knowledge, as opposed to applied research, which is geared towards the resolution of a particular question. A neurologist who studies the brain to learn about its general working is doing basic research, while a neurologist who is, searching for the origins of Alzheimer's disease is involved in applied research. So you can view it from different perspectives. Research stages, start to finish. Again, keep mentioning the research stages, because it's very important to get this kind of picture in your mind in terms of the different stages, and you need to go through these stages in sequence. Formulate and clarify your research topic. Critically review the literature, your literature review. Choose your research approach and strategy. Negotiate access and address ethical issues. Write down your proposal, analyzing, presenting, and debating the above. Start the process of widening your literature review. And by doing your literature review, in fact, you're actually going to get more ideas in terms of homing in terms of your statement or hypothesis. You know, your collection of data, analyze the data. And when we talk about collection data, what methods are you going to use and what types of data are you going to collect? Primary, secondary, what methods are you going to use? Questionnaires, face-to-face, over the phone, group discussions. There's all sorts of ways that you could go depending upon what you want to achieve. Debate results with the reviewed literature, conclude and summarize. So research stages: formulate and clarify your research topic, critically review the literature, choose your research approach and strategy, and negotiate access and address ethical issues. And number 5, plan your data collection. And data collection and data, one of more, sampling techniques. Secondary data, observation data, semi-structured or in-depth interviews, questionnaires. Which route are you going to take? So obviously we're going to go through the different types of primary and secondary, qualitative and quantitative data, and what we mean by these, and see which one kind of like fits your research topic area. Is it going to be quantitative or qualitative? What do we mean by quantitative? What do we mean by qualitative? But we'll come on to this later. Number 6, analyze the data using one or both of quantitative methods or qualitative methods. Number 7, write your project report. How do you start? Identifying the issue and developing a research question or hypothesis. Learn more about your issue. What does this research show? That's your literature review. Develop a strategy for the study. It's going to be quantitative, it's going to be qualitative, it's going to be a primary or secondary research or both. What and how are you going to do it? Gathering and analyzing the data. Do you have time? Do you have the resources to gather? And if you're doing quantitative data and you're taking a specific universe to meet your question, your topic question, can you actually take a large enough sample from your universe in order to make it representative of the total population? Because without that, it won't be representative of the total population. You're taking action and sharing your ideas, sharing objectives for this session to generate ideas that will help you choose a suitable research topic. So it all starts with the ideas, to identify the attributes of a good research topic. So yeah, to identify the ideas, definitely need to. What ideas interests you? But then what, again, like we said in the previous slides, what are the attributes of a good research topic? To turn research ideas into research project that has clear research questions and objectives. And then your question, your statement, or your hypothesis, your literature review, and then your choice of quantitative or qualitative type research, and then the method of research, and then the questions within that research, and are they in line with your literature review and your question to answer that in a draft proposal. So when we're looking at this research topic, something that you are capable of undertaking, you should look at something that kind of like excites your imagination, because it's going to be long and it's going to involve a lot of time and work and research. So you should have an interest in it, because it would make it easy for you. Something that develops your research skills as part of undertaking your project, something in which you will not lose interest again while developing the project, because it's quite easy to lose interest because it involves so much work. So, and also it needs to be something that you're capable to receive the data for, because if you can't get the data, then there's no way you can achieve your objectives in terms of determining whether the facts are correct, if it's a hypothesis, proving or disproving it. You need to look at who, the requirements of your client, what is the program going to achieve, and what are the problems will it solve, why, a rationale for the project, where is it going to be, when, time constraints, how much time do you have to do this, and how, methods used. Okay, so these things you need to take into consideration. You can't just say, well, you have this grand idea and it's going to take a great deal of time, more time than you actually have, and bearing in mind that you've got other units to study at the college as well. So you need to be realistic in terms of what you can achieve. When we look at the checklist of attributes for a good research topic, I know we've discussed this before, but we're discussing it again. Does the topic fit the specifications and meet the standards set by the examining institution? Is the topic something that you are really fascinated about? Does your research topic contain issues that have clear link to theory? Do you have or can you develop within your project a time frame? The necessary research skills to undertake the project. Is the research topic achievable within the available time that you have and all the other things that's going on in your life as well? Is the research topic achievable within the financial resources that are likely to be available to you? So these things need to be borne into consideration when you're developing this. Other things include are you reasonably certain of being able to gain access to data? Because I've seen so many students before, they do the topic question, they do the literature review, and then when it comes down to actually trying to obtain the information for primary quantitative data, they can't access the data, they can't get the data, they can't do the questionnaires. So then they have to go back to square one. Are you able to state your research questions and objectives clearly? Again, if your research question is not clear and it's concise and it's something that is achievable, it's going to be very difficult for you to answer that question. Will your proposal research be able to provide fresh insights into the topic? Does your research topic relate clearly to the idea you have been given? Okay, and are the findings for this research topic likely to be, symmetrical or similar to a value, whatever the outcome? So these things need to be taken into consideration. Now, the purpose of the research project, here it comes down to organizing your ideas, and not only will it clarify your thoughts, but it will help you to organize your ideas into a coherent statement of your research intent. Okay, so here you're starting from scratch. You're starting what interests you, what areas you would like to research on a specific topic area. This could take some time to determine itself. Content of the research proposal, will be the title. Usually, if it's your first attempt, it may change as work in progress. So the title, you may start with a title, and then at different stages, and as you do more research, the title will change. But you will work with your tutor in order to get the right title. Background. It should tell the reader why you feel the research that you are planning is worth the effort. Why are you doing this? Is it worth it? This may be expressed in the form of a problem that needs to be solved, or something that you find exciting and has aroused your curiosity. You should demonstrate knowledge of the relevant literature review in terms of that topic area. And is that literature review literature available for you to actually research this? It will just provide an overview of the key literature sources from which you intend to draw. Okay. Content of the research proposal, research questions and objectives. The background section should lead smoothly into the statement of your research questions and objectives. Should be precisely written and must lead to observable outcomes, sampling, research design, data collection. When we look at the method, it will detail precisely how you intend to go about achieving your research objectives. It will also justify your choice of method in the light of those objectives. These two aims may be achieved by dividing your methods section into two parts: the research design and the data collection. The research design, where you explain where, how you intend to carry out the research. Data collection, this section goes into much more detail about how specifically the data are to be collected And all these things are important because the type of quantitative or qualitative research. If it's quantitative research representative of a total universe, you're taking a sample size of that universe, then it needs to be representative, and it needs to be done in the most unbiased way as possible. Because then, if you take the data and it's biased, then your research findings are going to be wrong. Content of the research proposal, again, in summary, you should demonstrate to the reader that you have thought carefully about all the issues regarding your method and their relationship to your research objectives. Ethical considerations. It is necessary to include a statement about how your research will adhere to ethical guidelines. Timescales. Very important. You think you have more time, but you don't, because a research project is very time intensive. Helps to divide viability of your research proposal. Divide a research plan into stages with individual timescales. Produce a time worksheet. Plan your research process. Time management. Manage your resources. Keep adhering to deadlines and submission of your final project on time. Okay, because you're going to find out that you're going to be running out of time. So it's very important to have this, worksheet and the different stages that you need to do and achieve things. Again, you got these Gantt chart, so plan everything out and the time frames, because you've only got 11 weeks, so there's very little time. Content of the research proposal. You need to think about financial, data access, equipment, conducting the research costs money, travel fares, help with data analysis, software, training, license costs, PC requirements, postage for questionnaires if you're doing it, for a mail questionnaire, internet connection for web access. So you need to think about the costs as well, and the software and the equipment that you might need to carry this out. References. Do not try to impress the reader with an enormous list of references. Just mention a few literature resources to which you have referred in the background section and which relate to your previous work. So summary. What stages are there in the research process? Brainstorming to try and get the idea. This is the first stage. Formulating and clarifying the topic. Reviewing the literature. Choosing a strategy. Collecting the data, analyzing the data, and then writing it up.